The seven churches of Asia Minor in the book of Revelation. This covers Revelation chapters 2 and 3. Let's get started. There are three popular ways to view and interpret these seven churches. The first is literally, during John's day. The second is a spiritual state of any individual or particular congregation at any given time. And the third way, which we'll be focusing on the most, is to see these seven churches as seven periods of time or ages. These seven churches are Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. In the literal sense, they existed between 70 and 100 AD. Ephesus was hard-working but had no unity. Smyrna was the persecuted church. Pergamos worshipped idols. Thyatira fell to the Jezebel spirit. Sardis was a dead church that needed to wake up. Philadelphia had good deeds and endured till the end. And finally, Laodicea, the lukewarm church. Now, let's look at the second application, seeing these seven churches as examples for us today of what to beware of and what to aim for. We must avoid idolatry and lukewarmness, and aim to be like Philadelphia and Smyrna, keeping the commandments, unified in Messiah, and ready to face persecution and even death for our faith. And now for the third and last application, seeing these seven churches as seven ages of time, which begins in the first century. The first century is the age of Ephesus, known as the Apostolic Age. It's from 27 AD to 100 AD. They were hard-working, diligent believers, but there was division and lack of unity and love within the body of Messiah. The apostles were alive during this age period and were correcting the churches to return to the greatest commandments, to love Yah and to love their neighbor in Messiah. The second church is Smyrna, known as the Age of Persecution. This period lasted from 100 AD to 313 AD. Believers were being persecuted by pagan Rome, kidnapped and killed for the faith, even used as entertainment as they were being fed to the lions in the Colosseum. Yeshua encourages this church age in Revelation 2:10. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Now the 10 prophetic days that's mentioned can be seen as 10 years by using the day-year principle, just like we did with the 70 weeks of Daniel. These 10 literal years is known as the Diocletianic persecution from 303 to 313 AD. Pergamos is our third age, known as the Age of Constantine. This age lasted from 313 to 517. Emperor Constantine Christianized Rome, and the persecution ended. But with the Rome uniting with the church, much of the Roman paganism infiltrated the faith. Revelation 2:14, and you have some there who hold the teaching of Balaam, so that they might eat food sacrificed to idols and practice sexual immorality. Our fourth church age is Thyatira. This age is known as the Dark Ages. This lasted roughly from 517 to 1517. At this time, the Catholic Church and its popery controlled most of the Western world. The Pope was given the title of Universal Bishop and was seen as head of all churches by 606 AD. This church and its Pope taught idol worship. This was the Jezebel spirit. Idol worship is always prophetically seen as spiritual fornication, for you are unfaithful to Yah as you serve other gods. Revelation 2:20. That woman Jezebel, who called herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. Sardis is the fifth age period known as the Reformation age. This was around the years of 1517 to 1739. A sleeping church that woke up and saw the gospel, and a revival began, which was known as the Protestant Reformation. Men like Martin Luther and John Calvin were laying down their lives to spread the true gospel, salvation through Yeshua. Revelation 3:3. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast, and repent. Our sixth church age is Philadelphia, known as the Evangelical Age. This was from around 1739 to the beginning of the 1900s. Revelation 3:8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. During this time, men like John Wesley, Charles Spurgeon, and Jonathan Edwards were evangelizing greatly, partaking in huge revivals that spread the true gospel. And finally, we have the seventh and final age period. This is the age that we're in today. Laodicea, known as the lukewarm age, starts around the beginning of the 1900s and has continued on till today. During the start of the early 1900s, Christianity began to adopt worldly values such as materialism, humanism, and liberalism, and it has continued on to today with things such as the seeker-friendly churches, the prosperity gospel, and the New Age movement. Revelation 3:16. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. And as a side note, this is a big reason why so many are joining the Torah movement, thanks to Yah. Sincere believers wanting to come out of this lukewarm spirit and get back to being set apart for Yah. Revelation 3, verse 21 and 22. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and I am set down with my Father in his throne. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. If you enjoyed this video, please share and comment below. Thank you, and shalom.